to order the May 26, 2026 Planning and Zoning Board meeting. We now have a quorum. Are there any changes to the agenda?
No.
Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
I'll make a motion.
Second. All right. Motion by Paul, second by Darrell. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify by saying nay. Conflict of interest statement. In accordance with North Carolina Government's Ethics Act, it is the duty of every board member to avoid both conflict of interest and appearance of conflict, and are instructed to refrain from participating in any matter coming before this board if there is a conflict of interest or appearance of such conflict. If a board member has a known conflict of interest or appearance of conflict with respect to any matter coming before this board today, please identify the conflict and refrain from participating in the matter involved. Does any member of the board have a conflict of interest in any matter coming before the board today? Approval of meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve the regular minutes of February 23rd, 2026?
I make the motion.
Second.
Okay. Motion by Jane, second by Lauren. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify by saying nay. Okay, under new business, case number TA 2601, Public Arts and Murals. Request to amend section 2, 3, 6, and 13 to create new regulations and define public arts and murals. I will now turn it over to Andrew.
All right, thank you. This request is a recommendation brought forward by staff at the direction of council requesting to amend public art and mural requirements within the UDO. The Unified Development Ordinance currently lists the murals as a sign. This amendment is to consider murals as art and add additional requirements for the definition of public arts. The purpose of this amendment is to allow for art to be located in all districts of town with specific regulations in review. Murals will also be admitted from Section 6, which is our sign section, if this is approved, as murals will not be considered signs if this amendment is approved. So this is our use table, and what I've done here is under the civics and recreational uses, I've added public arts and murals, and what you see there in red, the PS stands for performance standards, meaning that a mural or public art will have to meet the requirements of the added section that we're requesting to add, which will be section 3.4.42. So the recommendation, this is what we're planning to add to section 3.4.42, which will be a new section. The applicability, the town of Troutman finds that public art and murals can enhance community identity, promote economic vitality, support downtown development, and improve the visual quality of public and private spaces. Art is intended to be public-facing works that contribute positively to the town's charter and sense of place. This section will apply to all exterior art located on publicly visible building facades in prominent locations, art on private property visible from public street, sidewalk, or public space, art located within designated overlay districts, downtown areas, or special planning areas, art on streets, sidewalks, multi-use paths, or other public infrastructure. Prohibited art, so this will be prohibited from this particular section. Art containing commercial advertising or branding, art with offensive, discriminatory, or obscene imagery, art that will obscure building openings, safety features, or traffic visibility, and art installed without town approval. In order to go ahead and move forward with this, we do have some application requirements, and I apologize in advance. There's a lot of text in this presentation. I didn't know how to do it any otherwise, so a little bit more boring than we're used to seeing. But application requirements, completed public art mural application, written permission from the property owner, which the art will be going on, high resolution color rendering of the proposed art, photographs of the existing area, description of the materials, paint type, and surface preparation, artist qualifications, and we have, if applicable, maintenance and longevity plan, statement explaining how the art contributes to the town's community identity, and any additional criteria listed on the application which has yet to be developed. Review criteria. Art should be evaluated based on artistic quality and professional execution, compatibility with surrounding architecture and land use, contribution to community character and placemaking, historical or cultural relevance where applicable, and durability and maintenance considerations. So the approval process that we're suggesting is staff shall review any applications we get for completeness, ensuring that it adheres to the standards defined. A recommendation will be presented to the town council regarding the application package. The council will have the final say on whether to approve the application or not. Maintenance and removal. Property owners shall maintain art in good condition. The town may require removal if the mural becomes unsafe or deteriorated. We also want to add some definitions to Chapter 13. The first being mural. A permanent or long-term work of original artistic expression applied directly to or securely attached to an exterior surface of a building or structure intended for public viewing and containing no commercial advertising, logos, or brand identification. We do want to identify what a commercial advertising is, since it would be prohibited in a mural. So we've got any message, wording, symbol, or graphic intended to promote or sell a business, product, service, or brand. And then the last thing we want to define is public art. And the way we're looking to define this with this recommendation: art in any media, including sculptures, statues, murals, performances, and digital media, specifically created for or placed in public spaces that are accessible to everyone. It is generally site-specific, designed to reflect the community's history, values, or environment, and often commissioned through a public process. Public art is typically located in the public realm, such as parks, sidewalks, libraries, or government buildings. And this can also include our greenway. So if somebody were to want to come up and maybe with a sculpture or a statue on the greenway, it would go through this process where the town council would have the final say. As I mentioned before, if this is approved, we're going to recommend removing all mentions of murals in Section 6, which is the sign section. And here I just put an image of our sign use table, and I've removed the wall mural from this table. And I know that was quite a bit of information, so I'm willing to take any questions you've got. We do recommend Planning Board make a motion to support the amendments, and this will be in front of Council on June 11th for a decision. And again, I'll open it up for any questions you may have for me.
Under art, prohibited art containing commercial advertising or branding. Some of the ones we have now are technically,
That's
I
right.
guess it does contain it, but it's an old sign, so it's, or an old design.
Yeah, so the intention with that is when those basically exceed their useful lifespan, they will not be approved to move forward with the commercial branding.
I actually like those signs.
They are the character of Old Town Troutman, especially the Cheerwine sign that's over the bakery and I forget the other one, but yeah, that's been there as long as I can remember. They just refreshed them. Now the one over at the restaurant coffee shop, that one is a new one that Randy had done before he moved.
And if you guys don't like that language about art containing commercial advertising or branding, you can recommend have that removed.
Well, wouldn't this actually fall under the historical or cultural relevance or the contribution to community character?
I think the ones over the bakery would, but I don't think the one that's at the coffee shop, ice cream shop would.
Okay.
And I think those can be looked upon individually if we do get further applications with that kind of historical presence.
So could we word that somehow where you're allowing yourself some wiggle room?
Yeah, and I do think the historical language that Lauren brought up would give us some wiggle room.
It at least gives it a pathway towards that determination.
But yeah, you can if you want to recommend any change in the wording, feel free.
Anyone? Yes, sir.
Under the definition of public art, since digital media is mentioned, do we want to say, maybe parenthetically there, whether they can be static or dynamic? Whether they can have movement?
If that's something the board would like to define, again, you feel free to discuss.
And let me piggyback on that, if they would have sound.
I don't think the intention is to have sound, but again, it does say digital media, and digital media is not defined. So
I guess what I'm saying is just to better define digital media. There's really, electronic billboards are really sort of a dynamic and vertical way of expressing things.
Their signs would actually go under signs.
that's right.
There's billboards, digital billboards.
Well, a mural can move. An artistic mural can move. In Waco, Texas, there's cowboys moving cattle across the river as they go from Texas to California a couple hundred years ago. It's sort of neat. It's moving art. Really catches your eye and draws you to it.
Is that a permanent installation?
It is, because along the trail there are full-size bronze cattle with horns, 20 of them that go on for 3/4 of a mile with guys on horses. But to get you to there, I'm just using that as an example, but to get you to that, they use this to sort of attract your eye without saying, hey, because you're not going there to sit and pay for something, you're going there because it's really neat to then walk that entire sidewalk along all those big, huge cattle and cowboys on horses. Because that's where the first.
Is there a distinction then between permanent installations, art installations, and performances, which would be under public art, which are obviously not permanent?
That's right. Yep. There's no distinction in the definition.
Okay.
Well, as for the digital media, is there something you would suggest we add to it?
Yeah, maybe my comparison or what I use it as example wasn't a very good example. It just seems to me that there are we protected a lot of things in Oakland. We literally went to the CME block and we cut it all out and lifted it out and brought it to the museum and put them in there. So it just sort of got me thinking that there could be something in the realm of digital media that maybe we're not really aware of, that's sort of vertical to a younger generation or something.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe just have a single sentence expanding on what digital media means in the world of mural art.
The same parameters might be able to be applicable to the performance section as well. Just because performance and digital share a lot of aspects. So
Yeah.
I think we could add something in there, maybe allowing for some kind of auditory aspect as well by permission.
Sure. So if I were to take these comments and add additional language in this definition regarding performances in digital media with some research, would that be kind of the direction that you're directing me?
Yeah, and I think this public art section, I think what we're talking about are not permanent installations. I think permanent installations would have to fall under its own category, of not necessarily zoning, but a different distinction. Is that right, Michael?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments?
Not the mural part.
We'll have to wait for something else. Is it applicable to this? Okay.
Anything else for me? All right.
Okay. Okay, I'll now open the meeting up for public comment. Anyone would like to speak on this text amendment?
Like I said, I think that the commercial advertising,
Can you come up here and state your name and?
my name's Mike Bowers, and this isn't why I came up here. In my opinion, from living here my whole life, I think the whole section about commercial advertising, if a person owns a building and they want to advertise their company on the building, who are you going to tell them they can't advertise their company on the building?
So that would just fall under the sign ordinance. So we're not limiting like a business from advertising themselves. On
Yes,
there.
sir, I understand. But like if you go to downtown Mooresville, they've got murals on the side of the buildings that are old and they've been there. And I know that would go on the historical part, but the historical part started back then. So if there was an ordinance like this back then, then future stuff would have a historical thing to look back on in this day. So if you want to advertise on the building, I think they should be able to advertise on the building, but that's my opinion.
Sure.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, thank you. Guess there's no one else to speak. We'll now close the public comment time. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Additional? What he's referring to, I mean, I know Mad Monkey or whatever, they did a mural, and because it was advertising their business, it wasn't allowed, right?
That was more of a case of, if you go back to this particular use table, Mad Monkey was owned highway business, and a mural was not allowed in that zoning district. So that was basically the case with the Mad Monkey. I wish it would have had a different outcome, but that's what it was like 2 years ago. So.
So I guess that would be a case where they are actually advertising their business, but yet it was pretty cool actually.
Yeah, I'm not. They're not using any company logo, so I think that one. I'm not so sure that was advertising the business. I think it was just art that was painted on the building that was related to the use.
So that could possibly, something like that could be accepted.
That's right. Yeah.
So just for clarification then, to your point, sir, right now as it stands, they're going to need some kind of permission anyway if they want it. Okay. So this is just changing the designation. They'd have to go through some of the processes.
Not to really get into that. Since y'all got that section in there, then that would totally make it against the rule. That's good. If you want to take that away, then that's what I need to do. In my opinion.
Since you do have to review it, I don't really see that maybe we could take that out.
Staff will not be heartbroken if you make a recommendation to remove that sentence.
All right. I don't know how the rest of you feel. Since it's got to be reviewed anyway, so if there's something that's an issue, I mean, if somebody's trying to get around the sign ordinance by putting this huge sign on the side of the wall, that wouldn't be allowed.
Which one was that? They need to get permission on those.
And what about a little private property? But you're exactly what that means. It's not for public. can't vary?
I think it just differentiates between, all of our buildings are basically on private property. It just differentiates between that and public space, as I was talking about. If you were to want to put a logo on the street or a statue on the greenway, which are public properties. So I think it just is a way to kind of include both in there.
You know, if somebody at their home were doing something for their own benefit, would that fall under that?
It would, and they would have to go through the criteria, meet what we discussed, and then submit the application and go in front of council. So, that would fall under this.
That seems like a little much.
Would public facing be fair?
Yeah.
Okay.
If they do it in their backyard, it's for their own use.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Andrew's not even gonna know.
What was that?
I'm not going to try to find out either.
What here? Facing buildings.
So,
Everything faces the public and people
I mean, we
can
could
see.
add in something about the zoning, but I mean, if you're worried about like a private home versus a private commercial business,
yeah.
is that what you're more
Yeah,
concerned
that's
with?
what I
Okay.
was, if somebody's doing some small scale something at their house,
Is a child going to get locked up for, using chalk on the sidewalk?
No.
There you go.
I mean, I don't know how far, I'm a little not unsure of how far that takes the personal home.
I don't think this was really meant to address a personal home. I don't think we're going to be too overzealous with residential properties.
Unless they do something, if they're doing something that's obscene or something,
Yep.
There isn't a line item for yard signs. That's a little bit odd.
Well, yard signs wouldn't be public art. Are you talking about excuse
I
me?
was just piggybacking on what they were just saying. I was just assuming that we'd be driving down the road and in the public we'd see some piece of art or some political thing that would be.
big sign.
Yeah, I think that would fit more under signs.
That's what I was saying. Underneath these sign types, I don't see yard signs on there.
We do have temporary sign section, which they are addressed. I just included this chart here because it was the chart that includes the current mural.
Yeah, which it was removed from.
Yep.
So,
Okay.
I'll add that for the next meeting. Would it be fair to change that verbiage in the applicability section to public and private, commercial, comma, public facing spaces?
That we can definitely do that.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
So just add the word commercial after private.
Commercial and public facing.
Public facing.
And they do have public facing works in here, in the following sentence.
Yeah.
So,
So maybe
it's maybe just adding that commercial
Okay.
aspect to that first part.
Sounds good.
Where's that going? Oh, I see. Private, okay.
is there like removing or containing commercial advertising and branding?
Commercial.
Yeah, that would just fall under another signage, wouldn't it? Yeah.
And
distinction between art installations versus like permanent art installations versus temporary. Yeah, I think murals are not going to be designated as permanent necessarily, even though, well, you have a plan to keep them maintained, but
Yep.
yeah.
Any other questions? Okay. Is there a motion regarding recommendation of TA 2601?
I don't have a list in front of me, but I can make the motion to recommend approval of text amendment case number TA-26-01 with amended text.
And so just to clarify what I have, add the word commercial under applicability after public and private commercial spaces. Omit the art containing commercial advertising or branding under prohibited art. And then lastly, you guys have given me the leeway under the public art definition to kind of define non-permanent versus permanent medias.
Yes.
So those are the three changes I have.
So I make a motion to recommend approval of text amendment case number TA-26-01 with amended text as per Andrew's list.
Okay, we have a second.
I second.
Okay, motion by Lauren, second by Jane. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, signify by saying nay. Okay, so that's unanimous. We need a motion regarding consistency statement of text amendment TA 2501.
I make a motion regarding consistency of this action, that this text amendment is consistent with the 2018 strategic plan and the Unified Development Ordinance and reasonable and in the public interest as it is consistent with the goals of the Troutman strategic plan.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Motion by Lauren, second by Paul. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify by saying nay. Old business, don't have any other business.
So we are in the process of creating our new land use plan, and as part of that, the consultant would like to have a joint session with the planning board and the city council, town council, excuse me. So a couple dates. If you could kind of look at your calendars and maybe get back in touch with me in the near future, June 15th, which I believe is a Monday, or June 17th, which I believe is a Wednesday, sometime in the afternoon, if you could just look at your calendars and see if you have any time available so we can kind of get this thing set up.
I can tell you now, I will be in Florida that whole week.
Okay, thank you.
And what time are you thinking?
Probably 3 p.m. or later. So.
Okay. Later would be better,
But if you just want to check your calendars out and just shoot me an email so I can get this thing moving forward.
okay. Do we have any updates on any of what's been going on with that?
With the land use plan,
Yeah.
we've had 2 steering committee meetings, the last of which was last Monday, and we anticipate the draft land use map being kind of revealed at this joint session with council and planning board. So just moving along.
Okay. Is there anything else?
I don't have anything else.
Did you guys know?
Goodness, no.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, though.
All right. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Can I ask one question? Bring another topic?
Yeah.
The y'all have actually, I spoke to you earlier. I don't know if you're talking about the same land use or not, but there's actually a proposed thing that was put on Facebook for a sewer line that's supposed to go across from Amy Hill Road over to the new high school. And a third of that goes across my property. So
I'm sorry, sir. Can you speak up just a bit so the recording can pick you up?
if you look on Facebook, there's actually a map that shows a sewer line that's proposed to go from Amity Hill Road to go to basically where the Shin Farm's at. And it's supposed to connect the Statesville sewer to the Mooresville sewer, is what I've been told. But Kimberly Horn is one of the people that y'all use for the planning for the sewer. I've actually spoke with them, and there's a good possibility that y'all are going to want to put a sewer plant on my farm. So I'm just trying to get ahead of everything and see what y'all's plans are, and if y'all are actually planning on doing a sewer plant, or if y'all are planning on doing a gravity-fed sewer line, or if y'all don't want to do like a pressurized sewer line and cutting through them, because it'll cut dead through the middle of my farm. So,
My recommendation would be to come to the council meeting on June 11th and bring this up in front of the town council, because that's going to be the board that's actually driving that thing. And at that time, you'll have your, the town manager will be here, who's kind of working with the process. This board's an advisory board, and me being the planner, I haven't been on the front end with the Kimberly Horn people, so I'm not exactly sure what the latest about any kind of sewer treatment plant would be, or where, or whatnot. I know they're looking at sites, not exactly sure where or what at this point. But that would be my recommendation.
I mean, is there any way that I could actually get a copy of what your current plans are, so that I'll know if it's, because there's got to be something, if y'all got a map that shows the plan, somebody's got to know what the plan is.
Sure. If you want to, when this is over, you can just give me your email address.
Yes, sir. Awesome.
Thank you. Sorry we couldn't, that's really not our forte there. Is there a motion to adjourn?
A motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Motion by Darrell, second by Lauren. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, stay. It seemed like anybody wanted to leave. I mean, anybody wanted to make a motion?
We want to make sure we got to everybody.
Yeah.